Hello everyone. Today I am joining you from the great outdoors. It's a gorgeous winter day out here on the East Coast. It's about 60 degrees, so I figured why not film outside? So today I'm going to be talking about a question that I got in the comment section of one of my last YouTube videos about Moldavite. And the question I got is coming from Mia, and she wants to know if I've gotten to be more sensitive to crystal energy and how do I experience it. For example, physical vibrations or visions. So since working with Moldavite, I have become considerably more sensitive to crystal energy. And it's also affected me in ways that I never thought would be possible, just because if you go to the Book of Stones or any other book that talks about the metaphysical properties, the healing properties of crystals, it doesn't really go over these things. So, in short, yes. And the reason that I feel that I've become more sensitive is because when working with Moldavite, your perspective changes. It changes in a way that makes you much more allowing, and that you don't place conditions on outcomes. You don't set expectations or have things or set parameters for outcomes. You're completely open to everything that comes into your experience. So I think that's why with Moldavite, it was I experienced. I had such a unique experience, especially with crystals, because through the path of least resistance, the crystal's energy was able to attune to mine and work with me. So one of the first ways that Moldavite has changed my sensitivity to crystal energy is that now, by simply just by looking at a picture of a stone or a crystal, I can actually feel its energy. For example, I was actually looking through a catalog because I was interested in purchasing another piece of Moldavite, and got to the page and they had all of these extra large pieces of Moldavites. I'm talking about palm-sized Moldavites, and I could just feel the energy just radiating off of the page, and it got to the point where I actually had to close the book because it got too strong for me. I can also sense the energy and the healing properties from stones just by looking at them on my computer. So that's something very different that was unexpected. Also, now since working with Moldavite, if I go to crystal shops or gem shows, then I find it very, very difficult to be in those situations for long periods of time because the energy just starts to overwhelm me. So right now I'm like up to an hour before I have to leave and kind of regroup and get myself back together. Another way that become I've experienced crystal energy since working with Moldavite is that because I'm in this state of allowing, my main guide has used certain crystals and stones as a means to facilitate communication. An example of that is I was working with just a natural citrine, and using it for the purpose the purpose in which it was intended, which is as a merchant stone. So you use that, for business matters, and also for manifesting abundance in the form of money. So it works really well for businesses, and that's what I was using it for, my business. And my guide actually started to communicate to me while I was working with that crystal and actually through that crystal. And I wholeheartedly believe because it was the path of least resistance, and because I was in such a state of allowing. I never expected that I would be in a situation where a guide would actually break through by way of a crystal. Another way that that my sensitivity to crystal energy has changed is that it really has an effect on my emotions now. I'm an empath, so it's easy for me to pick up vibrations that way, and I pick up tons and tons of different emotions. For example, another case in which I was working with a citrine. This time it was a heat-treated citrine. When I first picked it up, I just felt this incredible sense of joy, so strong that I actually felt like I was going to burst. I also have had visions as well. For example, when meditating with tanzanite, I actually had lots of visions of hearts, and I also had physical sensations as well. I had tingling and pressure in both my crown and third eye chakras as well. So, in short, yes, working with Moldavite has completely opened up my world and my perspective, and because of that, I've also been able to open myself up to different crystal energies. So I hope that answered the mail, so to speak, and I will see you all next week. Thank you for stopping by.